What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. So I'm going to show you guys a really cool phone that I have. Well, I've had it for a while, but I just did something cool with it. So I'm going to show you guys in this video. This right here is an iPhone 6s Plus. You see the S logo right there. iPhone 6s Plus, and look, I have it on iOS 9. Specifically, I have it. I didn't register. I have it on iOS 9.3.3. So the first operating system that shipped with it. Very cool, and I can't believe I actually got it. It wasn't a very straightforward process to do it. You had to run some command prompts and things like that, install some things, and it only works for macOS and Linux. Now, if you guys saw my video from a few days ago, I just got a MacBook, so I was able to do it with macOS. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I want to show you guys some things that you can still do with it that you cannot do anymore. And some of you guys probably know that, you know, usually on these A9 devices, you get activation errors when it comes to trying to set up these iPhones on iOS 9, but I managed to actually bypass it, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit how I did it. But I also want to compare it to some other phones I have in my collection just to see how they really compare. So yeah, let's get the video started. Alright, so here's the phone again, the 6s Plus. This is in gold. Now, funny story how I actually got this phone, because I bought a 6 Plus, but they sent me a 6s Plus. So it was pretty interesting, but kind of funny, but I still kept it because it's a really good phone. As you can see, it's pretty beat up here on the aluminum. I got it in this gold color, not rose gold, because again, I thought I bought a 6 Plus, and I had actually a 6 Plus at one point in gold, and really like how it looks. You can definitely tell it's really old. But yeah, before I go ahead and show you guys more of it, I'm gonna have bring some phones to compare it to. So I've got the iPhone 6s here, regular 6s, on the latest compatible version, and I have an iPhone 4S, the latest supported or the oldest supported phone on iOS 9 that cannot update any further. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show you guys the phone here. So as you can see, when you turn on the home screen, lower the brightness just a little bit, as you can see, we have iOS 9. We have the old classic slide to unlock, the old home button, or not the home button, the old lock screen. You have the old control center. You used to have the camera toggle down here to trigger the camera. You have the old notification center. Pretty cool stuff. This is what people were using up to 10 years ago, which is crazy. Touch ID also works. If I press it, it should unlock the phone just like that. So I have some games on it here. So this iPhone again is running iOS 9.3.3. If we go over to the about right there, as you can see, 9.3.3. Now, I downgraded to this version specifically and not 9.3.5, which is the latest version, because I wanted to try to jailbreak this phone. Unfortunately, I've ran into many problems trying to do that. And I just turned on my fan, god damn it. I ran into many issues trying to do that. And primarily it's because when I downgraded this phone, mostly A9 devices now get activation errors trying to set up on iOS 9. So if you go to iOS 10, anything above that, you won't have errors. But I got errors, but I managed to find a way to bypass it. Unfortunately, with that risk or with that trade-off is people, or now a bunch of apps, think that the phone is not activated. Let me turn the power mode off so it doesn't shut off. Now a bunch of apps think the phone is not activated, like 3U tools, which would have been for me the easiest way to download the app to jailbreak this. And I think that was the Pengu app, and I actually tried to see if there was a way by plugging this into the computer and downloading the Pengu app for Windows. Problem is the certificate expired a couple months ago, and that's funny because anytime I try to do something that, you know, is old or something that I need, usually it's just like it stops working a few months before. So I have really bad timing here, and yeah, so I was not able to jailbreak this thing. I wanted to try to get like an old version of YouTube to run on here because I did it on my iPhone 4S, also on iOS 9, and get Geekbench on here as well, but unfortunately I couldn't. Now I was able to sign in with my Apple account and all that, and download some games. A lot of social media apps don't work anyways, but it's pretty cool. This is it feels kind of weird, man. And it just like the screen quality, like I don't know what it is about it, but the screen quality was a lot better for iOS 9 than this does on iOS 15. Like it looks a lot more sharper for some reason, and it probably has to do with the fact that these newer operating systems were more optimized for the much better screens like OLED, for example. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. So you have the old notification center, you have the stocks and all that. He actually also used to have the spotlight here, which would show some things, but because this software is too old, it doesn't. And I even got my Apple Music on here, as you can see. I have a couple songs. Fortunately, like I had my whole library here yesterday, but this morning I checked, a lot of my songs were deleted from here. So it's like one of the albums, for example. Now, thankfully, that didn't sync over to all my main devices. Like my main phone, like my iPhone 14 Pro, all my music's still there. I think it's just some error bug with these older iOS versions. Don't know what the whole idea is about, but here's the old app switcher as well, as you can see on a plus size phone. It looks pretty cool, but yeah, overall really cool. And this was the first phone that also introduced 3D touch. So look at these toggles, they look so cool, because I actually when I bought an 8 Plus in late 2019, this was before iOS 13 came out, so that had 3D touch as well. But whenever you would actually showcase it, with iOS 12 it would show the big ones, but then once after iOS 13 it would look really small, and honestly I didn't really like it that way. I really preferred the big ones, and it's so cool. You can 3D touch here, 3D touch on here as well, so really cool. And yeah, so overall it's really cool, and I gotta tell you guys, this thing feels so much faster than it did on iOS 15. Now, it's a surprise to absolutely nobody because, well, iOS 15 was its 7th version of iOS for the iPhone 6s. So the fact that it lasted that long is actually really impressive. And you know, it doesn't run terrible for being, you know, for its age, but you definitely notice some slowdown for sure. And even things like the App Store load like right away, dude. It's actually crazy. Like, it's so much faster than what I'm used to when using iOS 9 on the iPhone 4S, which actually, now that we have the iPhone 4S, let's go ahead and bring it up, and let's go ahead and show you, let's compare the two. Because believe it or not, these two devices were both supported on the latest iOS version at one point 10 years ago. So obviously, this thing keeps turning on. At one point, that one shut off. At one point, you know, these two phones were running the same software over 10 years ago, which is actually pretty crazy. And obviously, seeing the size difference, the iPhone 4S is a lot smaller, a 3.5-inch phone versus the 5.5-inch on the iPhone 6s Plus. So as you can see, even just comparing them physically, I mean, there's a difference, right? This is like a chunky brick. Let's turn the damn fan on again. This is like a chunky brick right here. And over here you have a very thin phone over here. Like, it's not even comparable. We'll even turn it to the back. Lightning port was on this guy, and you have the 30 pin on this one. So, you know, even just, it's not just with, you know, with hardware and, you know, software and just everything else, there's a big difference. Even though these are on the same versions, they couldn't be any different. So obviously the iPhone 6s is obviously much faster. Now I don't have the passcode here because I have the classical home button. So, you know, and this one I just had the passcode because I have the Touch ID on it. So pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and actually, oh nope, not mean to do that. Close out of that. So obviously, again, screen differences, but there's a couple things also. So why don't we do a little speed test? Why not? Let's try triggering the spotlight search. Okay, that one was the same just because I already was messing with this thing earlier, so I already did the spotlight. But even just to show the keyboard up, let's do that again. There's no way for you. Here, one more time. So there's a little bit of a delayed reaction here. When you try to do spotlight on this guy for the very first time, it's really slow. But once you get it the second time, it's a lot better. But yeah, so as you can see, big differences here. You have a much bigger screen size here. The control center as well. Let's bring both of them up. So you have way more room. You can see more of the home screen there as well. You actually also have more icons. So if you have the Wi-Fi controls, orientation, the brightness, the volume settings, music controls. You also here have night shift, which you can toggle on, which was introduced with this specific iOS version. It was not available on this phone because of its hardware. Obviously, it was too old. You both have AirPlay. This one has AirDrop, which is actually pretty cool. And then if we go over down, let's see, to the notification. Oh, what did I do? There we go. So at least here, in the terms of the today screen, they look almost about the same. Shows you the same things. You can actually see stocks, and then calendar doesn't really show any of the rest. I think that's probably because I'm not on my iCloud on the iPhone 4S. Now, funny thing is, strangely enough, is with some devices on iOS 9, you can sign into your iCloud account just fine. But on other devices you cannot. So on my iPad mini 1, I'd managed to sign in on iOS 9 with that. However, with this guy, I wasn't able to. But on iOS 8, you are able to. So I don't understand what the deal is with that. Also, so let's keep looking around. So obviously we have the little spotlight thing here. When you scroll here, nothing. You cannot even do that. Again, because hardware limitations. We're working here with the Apple A5 with 512 megabytes of RAM, which is not a good combo for this software. Here we have the A9 with 2 gigabytes of RAM, so that's a big difference already right there. And as you can see here, again, the big difference is obviously the screen size. You have a lot more screen space here. Oh, and also this thing has no 3D touch, so if I press that, all it does is it just wiggles the home screen around or wiggle the icons. That's all you could really do. So I wanted to jailbreak it again because you can run an old version of YouTube on iOS 9 with the jailbreak tweak. You also have Geekbench, so they actually like showcase some of the hardware scores, like a benchmark thing. This is Geekbench 3, I think, or is it 4? I don't know which one it is. It's Geekbench 3. And let's see the app switcher differences. Well, there aren't really not much. They're the same because it's the same software, but this was the first one where you can introduce shows all the apps at once, where you could clear it out a lot quicker. But again, the screen space is obviously the much bigger difference. Of course, performance as well. Let's try to launch some things like a little speed test. Let's try the App Store. So a bit of a delay. Look how quickly this is. This is gonna take a little while. Give it a second. Maybe it's because I have low power mode on this one. It's a little bit slow, but I don't know. It's not even. Hey, it's not even loading. Holy crap! So you can see this was not. There we go. Took a while, like over about 10 seconds longer, maybe 15 seconds. But yeah, much slower, obviously. But obviously, again, no surprise to nobody because the hardware is different. I'm trying to figure out what else to compare, but oh yeah, I'll show you guys that you can download an old version of YouTube here with the jailbreak tweak, and it does work. If I want to watch a video, so I really want to do it out on here to mess with. It will load. It's just because it's slow. It's an old phone, but it does work. So I couldn't get it here on this version because again I cannot jailbreak it because I actually had to bypass the activation because you cannot activate these old devices. Now how I actually did it is I actually followed this tutorial that's on YouTube. I'll link the tutorial down in the description, and also the tutorial I used to downgrade the phone. But I had to use like legacy iOS kit, and I had to mess around with some other command prompts, download some other apps, and that's how I managed to bypass it. But now other apps like 3U Tools says that the device is not activated, so I cannot jailbreak it. Alright, it's a lot harder for me to jailbreak with sideloadly, 3U Tools, even CD Impactor doesn't work either. And then there's other ways you can download like some jailbreak apps through Safari, but they don't really work, or there's not really any for this specific version. But so you can see here the difference. I mean, this is just cool. I mean, honestly, the problem also I forgot to mention that the downgrade is tethered. So meaning as soon as the phone turns off or the battery dies, you have to plug this into your computer and run a command prompt with terminal. But it's honestly not too tricky at all. But yeah, pretty cool stuff all around. It's kind of weird. I'm so used to iOS 9 on this tiny ass screen versus this this giant screen for the time. Pretty cool. It's very cool. Because when I used my first iPhone, which is an iPhone 5, it was with iOS 10. iOS 10 was already out, and yeah, so that's what I was using. So I'll never use iOS 9, so I use iOS 10 afterwards. But pretty cool stuff here. All right, and now we already compared it to the iPhone 4S. Let's bring over my second iPhone 6S on iOS 15. Turn that brightness down because this camera doesn't do the greatest job at picking stuff up. But as you can see, I mean, obviously this is the first version of iOS for the iPhone 6S, and this is the last one. So iOS 9, iOS 15. So you can see there's a lot more difference. This one's obviously a lot more modern. You have widgets here. Let me show you guys what I was talking about with 3D touch. So as you can see, it's bigger here, and then it didn't work. So you can see the much smaller icons right there. However, it is easier to actually hide apps and remove apps around. You have all the toggles already built in with this. Rather, it's here you have to press right down here to trigger the 3D touch, but over here, you have to wiggle the home screen if you want to delete icons. So here it's already in one setting. But again, I honestly prefer the much bigger icons here. But as you can see, obviously a lot of bigger differences. Control center as well, you have way more customization as well. And let's do a quick speed test. Which is quicker? Obviously it's gonna be iOS 9. That didn't work. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, what the heck happened there? Let's try notification center. Oh, I did the spotlight notifications. All right, and then look at the delay right there with the spotlight. Oh, come on, what did I do? I am being clumsy today. Yeah, much quicker. This one is obviously not the most stable version of iOS for this phone, and it can actually cause the phone to actually overheat quite a bit. So I'm trying not to do anything too heavy on it so this thing doesn't start overheating like crazy. But let's try obviously much more supported apps. The Apple Musics obviously look a lot different. You have Obviously, if we go to like your library, oh my gosh, it's not working. Show it's a lot different here. Recently added, you see more of what you're looking at. The app switcher. Oh, look at those faster animations. Oh, hold up, I'm trying to look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I tried to hold the phone in the same hand, so you can see closing it here was much quicker than this guy. He had to wait a little bit. That was fixing the next version of iOS. Some other things that look different. The App Store icon as well. If we go over to the App Store, loads much quicker here. Here it's a little slower. Oh, and of course we have dark mode on iOS 15. People really wanted dark mode for so many years, and iOS 9 didn't have it, but we brought night shift, and then now we got it with iOS 13. But you know, it still works here. And then let's try some loading like camera, for example. It's a lot faster, but most of the layout's actually the same. If you actually see exactly the same, go to video. Over here it tells you your video quality. Here you have to adjust it in settings. So slower animations overall. And look at the app switcher differences. So you have the 3D previews here and here as well, but here it actually just shows you the home screen. Pretty cool stuff. Let's try actually unlocking the phone, which is quicker. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. A little bit about the same. They are pretty fast. Touch IDs being second gen. One more time. All right. A little bit surprising. It's actually not too slow. So here you'll see a much bigger difference, obviously because of software. I mean, this is pretty outdated. Well, both are outdated. This thing got supported in 2016. This in 2022, but obviously this one has a lot more modern things. You can run like most apps, although it's not the latest version. See, at least with YouTube, this is not the latest version of YouTube, but it does work if you really are still using this phone. I've saw some people who say that they're still using this phone today. Oh my gosh, that took a while. But it does work. You can still load videos. It's a little laggy. It loads a bit, but it works. It definitely works. Oh, bit of a stutter there. Oh yeah, you have picture-in-picture on here as well, which was introduced in, I forgot what version. I think it might have been iOS 14. But overall, you'll see a much bigger difference here. And again, this one on iOS 9 is so much faster. It's amazing. Honestly, it's really mind-blowing. And actually, the crazy thing is, I actually wanted to downgrade this iPhone 6s here, my smaller one, to iOS 9. But I actually discovered that this iPhone 6s was manufactured in like January 2019. So obviously the only version you can downgrade that one to is iOS 12. And I actually don't know how that works. I swear this thing got discontinued in 2018. So maybe they were still manufacturing it for like carriers and stuff like that. So I don't know. And then you also, oh my gosh, it's not a word. There's one unlock. And then with this guy, it was manufactured in December of 2015. So this one was like no problem at all. Now the downgrade process actually works. You can downgrade to any version of iOS you want that's unsigned. You can downgrade to iOS 14, iOS 13, iOS 12, 11, 10, 9. I went with 9 because it's the first one. And yeah, it's pretty cool all around. I'm still amazed that I even got this to work. But yeah, it's very cool all around. You know, this is part of the collection now. So now I have two iPhone 6s's, one on its first version and one on its last version. So pretty cool. Now I was actually able to get some games on here. I have like some of these that were like you cannot download anywhere past iOS 11, just because I think a lot of these game certificates are like 32-bit, and that stopped once iOS 11 came out. But I have some of the older like FNAFs, GTA. A couple games I used to play when I first got my first ever iPhone. That was around the iOS 10 days. So again, a little bit after this guy was out, or before this guy was out, but he's iOS 9 and iOS 10. So again, this is like, again, 9.3.3. So this was already released by like late 2016 or mid 2016. But yeah, pretty cool stuff all around. I'm again very amazed that I actually managed to do this. Now that tool actually that I used to downgrade the iPhone 6s also works with the iPhone 7. So if you have an iPhone 7 you want to downgrade it to iOS 10, you can also do that, but again, it's a tethered downgrade. And well, you shouldn't have activation errors with those devices, but for some reason this guy has activation errors, and now I cannot jailbreak it. Now the funny thing is, these are, okay, because look, these are on different firmwares. I'm going to bring my 4S back out again. So we're going to actually go to General. Come on, do your job. We are on iOS 9.3.6. Now, because obviously these were the last versions for these devices, these have, you know, people put more effort to jailbreak for these older guys. And so this one has a jailbreak. As you can see here, no problem. This is actually an untethered jailbreak that just came out like about 2 months ago, which is pretty cool. So now, because usually the old jailbreak beforehand was the Phoenix jailbreak, and that was a tethered one, so now you have an untethered one. But it's a bit of a process. You have to mess around with it a little bit to get the jailbreak to install, and then you have to install a tweak to make it untethered. But I think, yeah, you can't do that with any other regular tethered jailbreak, I think. Specifically how they're designed, but overall, oh my gosh, I'm about to drop this thing. Oh, what just happened? All right, and even look at the app switcher loading times. Wow, because when you have more apps open in the background, oh my gosh, I'm about to drop this. When you have a lot more apps open in the background, that's how it goes. But yeah, overall, that's it for this video, you guys. Just want to show you. Oh my gosh, here, place this here. Need these placeholders here. So that's it for this video, you guys. So this is my iPhone 6s Plus running iOS 9.3.3. Not a straightforward process. It is a little bit of a hassle, and it's a tethered downgrade. So you have to again connect to the computer every time this thing dies. But it's not that big of a hassle. Like once you figure out how to downgrade this and then to boot the device, it's honestly a really simple process. I only had to do it once, and yeah, so pretty cool stuff all around. So if you have an A9 device, A10 device, you can mess around with any old version of iOS you want to. Just check the serial number to see when it was manufactured, or you can always plug it into 3U Tools, whatever you want, and it could show you when it was made. So this one, again, made in December 2015, so I was able to downgrade it to iOS 9 with no problem. But again, bypassing the activation makes apps think this is unactivated and I cannot install IPAs or install jailbreaks. It's whatever, that's fine I guess, but still pretty cool all around. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I have links to the tutorials I followed in the description if you guys want to try to do this yourselves. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.